Oh, look at that, dear. It's week 22 of What Happened on My Universe mode! And as always, we start with Raw, which took place at Nashville, Tennessee. We open with a match between Rusev, who didn't get his rematch with Daniel Bryan, but he got the next best thing. He took on Randy Orton. The match began pretty evenly until Rusev hit that kick to the chest of Randy Orton. He hit a couple more moves before Randy Orton hit his draping DDT. It wasn't enough to keep Rusev down though, as he hit a German suplex, and the two clashed even more. The even contest finished when Randy Orton threw Rusev in the air and hit a sexy RKO. 1, 2, 3. After their confrontation on the last edition of Raw, Paige gave Trish Stratus a match, non-title of course, and if you think the last match was even, you ain't seen nothing yet. Both ladies had control throughout the match and hit some big manoeuvres, but it wasn't until Paige hit these 3 clotheslines that it looked like it was going to end. But when we thought it was going to end, Trish Stratus reversed it. And then, when Trish Stratus went for her kick, Paige reversed it. It was finisher reversal mania. But then Trish did hit the kick and won, which means she now holds a pinfall victory over the Divas champion. Continuing Raw's main feud, Bray Wyatt took on Daniel Bryan once again, but as Daniel Bryan was getting in the ring, Bray Wyatt attacked him, kneed him in the head and kept attacking him more. He then did a cannonball into his face. A couple more moves later and he hit Sister Abigail for the victory for the second week in a row. And for the second week in a row, he attacked Daniel Bryan afterwards and started spouting off stuff that, doesn't like him and stuff. Grr. Smackdown tag team The Usos made a guest appearance on Raw to be the latest victims of John Cena and Roman Reigns' Team Fuckboy. As per Vince McMahon, the Golden Duo headed to the ring and smashed 7 layers of shit out of the Usos, John Cena hitting the AA and letting Roman Reigns finish it with the spear. Who's next? We had a special main event for Raw as Brock Lesnar defended the US Championship against the former champion, Dean Ambrose. And unfortunately for Dean Ambrose, Brock was in the mood and didn't give him much offense and then chucked him to the outside. On the outside, Dean Ambrose finally managed to get some offense in. Unfortunately, that was it, just some offense, a couple of moves here and there, and then Brock Lesnar reversed it with a tilt-a-whirl side slam. A few power bombs later, and then Brock took Dean Ambrose on top of the announce table for a huge F5. Not wanting a count-out victory, Brock took Dean Ambrose back in the ring, hit a clothesline and pinned him for the victory. I'm sure he'll get another title shot soon. We now move on to main event, which was in Washington DC, and we opened with a dream match as Chris Jericho took on The Rock, who was accompanied by his associate Farouk. We began with more of that early match even goodness that Universe Mode loves to give us, before Jericho gained a bit of control, before The Rock reversed and threw him over the top rope before throwing him back in over the top rope. After a Rock backbreaker though, he lost control once again and Jericho hit Snake Eyes into the corner before locking in the walls of Jericho. The Rock didn't tap, he managed to get out. And before Jericho could do anything else that was substantial, Farouk was on the apron, distracting him. When Jericho turned back round, boom! Spinebuster! The Rock then hit a rock bottom, because he didn't want to hit a people's elbow, and won the match. 2 legends were colliding in our next match as Ric Flair took on Triple H, or at least he was supposed to take on Triple H, but The Undertaker was there pre-match to give him a bit of a beating and smashing his head on the steel steps. Ric Flair did his best to beat him down, but he was already fucked as it was. So, just to be safe though, Ric Flair put his feet on the ropes when he did the pin. A win for Ric Flair over the game. Post-match, they stared each other down. Tag team action now was the Hart-Smith Foundation. The British Bulldog and Jim Neidhart took on Colonel Mustafa and General Adnan, the Militia. And it began well for Neidhart before Colonel Mustafa did a bit of reversing. Despite this Mustafa offense, Jim Neidhart had a trick up his sleeve, tag into the British Bulldog, and despite him eating a back body drop from Adnan, he then, took back the control with ease and hit a nice German suplex. a big normal suplex, and then the running power slam for the victory, and they now get to take on the Blade Runners, the Ultimate and Sting, for the tag titles at the next pay-per-view. Macho Man Randy Savage wanted one more chance against Andre the Giant, as he keeps losing against him, and before the match even started, well, Savage beat him down savagely. Before Andre had a chance to get back up off the corner, Savage was ramming his knee into his face, and even more knees to the face, and choking. What a heel. Macho Man took to the top rope and hit his double axe handle, followed by his elbow drop, and he finally got that first win against Andre the Giant, albeit with an attack pre-match. Now, Booker T took on Stone Cold Steve Austin one more time, but before the match had started, well, they knocked the ref out, so Booker T went and got a chair and shoved it in Stone Cold's belly. And while they were still on the outside, Booker T gave a dirty powerbomb to Stone Cold, which probably didn't help his neck. Stone Cold got the advantage back once they were back in the ring, but it wasn't enough for Booker T to stay down, and the match became quite even as we headed towards the end, when Stone Cold threw Booker T outside. Booker T caught a possible stunner attempt and hit a dragon screw before hitting the most spectacular front elbow drop you'll probably ever see. He then went back in the ring and finished it with the scissor kick and won the match just before the pay-per-view. And so we move on to the future, which was in Los Angeles, California for NXT. We opened with the first semi-final of the NXT Tag Team Title Tournament between Enzo and Cass and the Ascension. Enzo Amore began this match with Victor, and after eating a few moves from him, Connor tagged in and gave him a few moves himself. They double teamed and continued beating on Enzo until he managed to reverse into this sunset flip. He hit a big splash before tagging into Big Kaz. After a quick double team move, Colin Cassidy got to work, hitting several nice big slams on Victor before tagging back in and getting that nice big double team move which won the match and got them through to the finals. Now next up, DLC debut Big Boss Man took on Mikey Whipwreck, and well, he didn't give Mikey Whipwreck much of a chance. The future Hall of Famer pummeled Mikey Whipwreck with several high impact maneuvers, the last of which was a classic Boss Man Slam, and he lied over him to get the pinfall victory. Hideo Itami was just coming out for a nice normal match with Tyler Breeze when Kevin Owens came out and shoved his face where it didn't belong. Itami didn't let it affect him and got straight to work on kicking Tyler Breeze in the head. Tyler Breeze, though, came back with some punches and forearms of his own before Itami hit a back body drop. They continued trading moves up until Hideo Itami hit this nice side suplex and then a Michinoku driver. Classic cruiserweight action. Kevin Owens, though, got up after that and started distracting Hideo Itami, which Breeze took full advantage of and attacked him. He then threw him to the outside and completely missed the announce table with a big DDT. Breeze then popped him back in the ring to hit a super kick and the beauty shot for the 1-2-3 victory. Hard luck, Hideo. Now, R-Truth was out to take on JBL, and much like in the last match, well, Xavier Woods came out, who's R-Truth's partner, but he had a bit of a Barney with him last week, and I guess he's still not talking. R-Truth's mind seemed to be elsewhere at the start of the match as JBL destroyed him with several big moves, but like all good babyfaces, R-Truth made his comeback with a slam, an X-Factor, and his good old fall forward suplex. R-Truth took this moment to go outside and have a word with Xavier Woods. He didn't bank on JBL though, coming to the outside and smacking him in the face. Whoops. JBL then threw him into the ring, and then actually into the ring, hit a couple more moves and a clothesline from hell, and JBL was victorious. The NXT main event was next, and Finn Balor, the NXT champion, took on Fandango, and then much like the other matches on NXT, we got that same cutscene where the current feuding person comes out, this case DDP. Now Fandango did try and hit a move, but Finn Balor, being the awesome champion he is, he reversed it and hit a codebreaker, followed by a powerbomb, and then threw Fandango into the corner. He then went outside and had a nice confrontation with DDP. Back back in the ring. Finn Balor was back on the attack, hitting a few smacks before a swing blade. He then hit Sunday Bloody Sunday, the Pele kick, and of course the coup de grace for the easy victory. Diamond Dallas Page though was obviously starting to get on his tits. And as always, we end the week with Smackdown, which took place in Chicago again. And we opened with Edge against Stardust again. But this time, Stardust started it with a fucking muscle buster. What the fuck? He followed that big move up with a couple of other big, decent manoeuvres. Wasn't keeping Edge down though. He hit a belly to belly and a backbreaker. But Stardust was keeping it even with his suplex, and then Edge hit his reverse X Factor thingy. More big moves got hit. Edge hit a German suplex before Stardust hit the disaster kick. It all came to an end when Edge hit a spear out of nowhere. Boom! There it was. And won the match. After the match though, when Edge tried to shake his hand, Stardust, well, smacked it away because apparently he was unhappy. SmackDown's second match featured Intercontinental Champion Ken Shamrock taking on the One, Billy Gunn. And after hitting a couple of big high-impact power moves, Ken Shamrock got started working on that leg, like he always does. He done worked on that leg for quite a while, until he got bored, and eventually, after this one, he locked in the ankle lock, the classic ankle lock that no one's tapped out to yet. Well, they have now. Billy Gunn did. Ken Shamrock wins. We followed that match quickly with The Miz taking on Cesaro, and Cesaro got to work quickly himself with a flying European uppercut. And after a couple of Cesaro moves, The Miz got his shots in with a back suplex before starting to pretend to be an MMA star instead of pretending to be a movie star like he normally does. Eventually though, Cesaro did get the advantage back and hit a nice, very European uppercut before hitting a giant swing! A stomp, and the neutralizer for the Cesaro victory. On the last SmackDown, Darren Young appeared to get injured by the tag team champions of Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, so Titus O'Neil took on Eric Rowan to get a bit of that heat back. He didn't wait until Rowan was in the ring though, and headed up the ramp to hit a massive move on him there. A slam on the ramp followed that, and then he continued beating until the ref had to stop him after that clothesline. Which meant soon enough we headed into our main event and the last match of the week, Big Show taking on Goldust. But like most of NXT, we had a cutscene where someone came down, and Kofi did this time to come and have a watch of the Big Show match. Because of this, the Big Show made sure that Kofi had something good to watch, smashing Goldust with several big moves before throwing him to the outside and beating him up right in front of Kofi. Once the Big Show had thrown Goldust into some steps, Kofi Kingston got all up in his grill, which made him forget that Goldust was even there. Goldust then smacked him one and took control, hitting a neckbreaker and then choking him on the bottom rope. After a couple more moves, including a dirty knee to the head, it was time for Shattered Dreams. And the Big Show, well, he probably has sore bollocks now because he lost to Goldust. And so a few questions from the week. When will Bray Wyatt's attacks on Daniel Bryan stop? Was The Undertaker trying to send a message to Triple H with this attack? Can Macho Man beat Andre the Giant without attacking him before the match? Will Hideo Itami get revenge on Kevin Owens? And what the fuck, Big Show? You lost to Goldust? Find out all this and more on What Happened on My Universe More. Like and subscribe.